Hey guys, and welcome back for another tutorial. Today I am showing you how to make this really cute Tic Tac Toe travel game. It is a perfect little Valentine's gift, or if you're feeling ambitious, you can make it for the whole class. So if you're interested, I will have the measurements over at the blog post, which will be linked below, as well as the information icon. And there you will find some SVG downloads to help you make this little project, and any links for any of the tools that I use in this tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my little pouch. So I am using a canvas fabric, also called duck fabric, so it's a little bit thicker. I will be using some larger stones, so it needs a little bit of weight to it. I'm using a silky cord as my little cincher, but you can use a ribbon or rope or whatever you have on hand. So I'm just going to measure out my string, and then I can start doing some ironing. So because I'm using this fabric, it's a little bit stiffer, so I don't need any interfacing or anything, and I can just make it super fast and super quick and so easy. So I'm gonna hem the short sides. So I'm gonna fold it in about 1/4 of an inch, fold it in again about 1/2 inch. I'll do that on both sides, and then I'll fold it in half and press it. I'm gonna fold it in half inside out, so make sure that those hems are on the outside. And I'm going to sew up each side, but only up until that fold line. So we're not going to go all the way to the end. So I'm going to stop right here and make sure you back stitch, make sure you lock those stitches, and I will do the other side. So now I'm going to take it out of my sewing machine, and I will press down the side seams. And I will make sure that fold goes all the way to the very end. It's a little bit tricky, as you can tell. I'm clearly struggling. And then we will again fold down the bag with those previous folds that we made in the beginning, and we'll just clip that all into place. So I'm just going to get some clips, and now that the little casing there on the sides won't have any raw edges showing. So I'm just going to clip it on each of the sides, and then flip it, and then clip it again, just to make sure that everything stays in place and all those raw edges are hidden inside the casing. And then I'm going to sew all the way around the edge. And I'm doing this inside out. It's a little bit more trickier to do it inside out, but I just want to make sure that I am catching my fabric, because if I did it from the other side, I might not be able to, or it might not work out, basically. Okay. So now that I am almost done sewing that part, I will take it out of my sewing machine, and then I am actually going to be using my pinking shears, which if you don't know anything about those, I do have a video which I can post in the information icon. And I'm just going to snip those raw edges. If you don't want to do this, you can of course just zigzag or serge those edges just so that they don't fray, but pinking is fine. I mean, it's a little thing for kids, so I don't mind having a little bit of raw edges inside the bag. Okay, so now I'm just going to turn it right side out, and then I'll poke my corners, and then the bag is pretty much done. I'm just going to take my silky cord, I'll put a pin on, or a safety pin, yeah, safety pin on the end of the cord, and then I'll just thread it through the casing. I like to leave the cord all one piece. Some people like to snip it and have half the cord on the one side of the casing and then half the cord on the other side, and then do a knot on either end. But I think that this is just easier, in my opinion. And then I'm just going to tie a knot at the end of the thread or my silky cord, and then I'll just cut off the excess if I have too much. And now we can start working on the Cricut stuff. So this is my first project where I'm doing fabric and not fabric. I will be using a heat transfer vinyl as well as a permanent glossy vinyl. So you'll see. Like I said, all the links for everything I use will be at the blog post. So if you're wondering exactly what I'm using, But first we need to figure out what we want to make our little tic-tac-toe pieces. So I'm using these very large stones. They are very large, so it's a little bit much, but because I'm making it for my daughter, I don't mind. But you can always use different color stones, or they have these really cute stickers over at the Dollar Tree that they're stickers, but you could, put something on the back to make them not a sticker. They also had these cute little table decoration things. You could use those, and maybe, something else for the O's, which I thought was really cute. So you don't have to go the vinyl route if you don't want to. And you can also just, use fabric paint or something just to draw on the tic-tac-toe board. But I'm going to get a little fancy and use my new Cricut because I have to use my Cricut. So I did make a SVG or a PNG of the tic-tac-toe board, which I'll have as a download on my website. And then I also made a SVG and a PNG for the tic-tac-toe words. So I'll have a link if I can find it for the actual font if you want to download that onto your computer. But if not, you can just take that and use it. So I'm just going to upload this as a cut file, and then I can place that and make it as big as I want. So if you're not using the large stones, which those were from Dollar Tree, if you're not using the large ones, you can just size this according to the size that you want for whatever you're using. So if you are using smaller pieces, you can make it a smaller tic-tac-toe board. And same with the tic-tac-toe, you are going to, size it according to your tic-tac-toe board. So I like to put that over top of the board just so that I can see. I like that the tic-tac-toe fits perfectly over each of the squares. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut. So I cut out my tic-tac-toe board and the tic-tac-toe words out of the heat transfer vinyl, and it's a nice blue. And then I'm going to cut out the hearts and the X's out of a permanent glossy. So once you have everything all cut out, then you can start weeding. So weeding is just the process of taking a sharp tool and just taking out all of the negative space. So I like to use a little dental pick that I got over at the Dollar Tree. Love that Dollar Tree. And I'm going to go ahead and take all that negative space out from my vinyl. And I'll do that for the words. And I'm gonna iron this all at the same time. So make sure you have your hot dry iron ready to go. And I'm going to place that on my bag and then place the words above it. And then I'm going to iron it and press really hard with the canvas fabric. You got to give it a little bit of muscle just because it is a stiffer fabric, so you just got to, press real hard. And then we will slowly take off that transfer tape. And then I will grab some of my parchment paper, and then we do it again. We do another press. So the first time I pressed it for about 30 seconds, and I'll do it again with my parchment paper. And then that should be good for the bag. And we can start working on the other vinyl. So cute. I love how this is turning out. Just makes it like a whole nother level when you add the vinyl. Okay, so this is the permanent glossy, and you're going to take off the negative space again. And with this one, you do need to use a transfer tape. They have a lot of transfer hacks out there. I even hear that they have tacky paper that you can buy over at the Dollar Tree. But I got an actual transfer tape. So you're just going to cut off a piece to fit over your vinyl image. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you'll see that I did piece together my vinyl or my transfer tape. So it doesn't matter if it's overlapping or whatever. So I'm just going to cut that off because it is tape, literally. It's sticky, so just cut off all that sticky ends so they don't get stuck to things or your clothes. And then I'm just going to do that for the hearts. And then after this, we are going to take our little scraper tool. And if you don't have that, you can use your fingernail. You can use anything that is rubber or hard. You just want to make sure that it's not sharp because you don't want to, dig into the transfer tape. But you're going to basically just rub it down so that the transfer tape adheres to your vinyl image. And as you can see, it does kind of change color because it is really sticking. And then after, you're just going to snip them all apart. I find that it's easier to do them all together and then snip them apart. Okay, so now that we have them all done and prepped, we're going to go ahead and start applying them to our little gems here. So you could make these on the little ones, you just have to make your X's a little smaller. So I'm just going to place it on the back. And as you saw there, it easily came off of the previous tape that it was on because it was nicely stuck to my transfer tape. And then you're just going to rub it as hard as you can with your nail or whatever. The back of these stones are a little bit rough. They're not super smooth, so kind of got to make it get in there real good. At first I was using my little scraper tool, but I ended up just using my nail after, which worked fine. So you just peel off that transfer tape. Sometimes the transfer tape still wants to take the image with you, so you got to kind of make it stick better, but most of the time the transfer tape came off as long as you rubbed your image very good. So there's 5 pieces of the X's and 5 of the hearts. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to do all of them. So I really hope you enjoyed this Cricut / sewing tutorial. I think it turned out really, really cute, and I think my kids will love these little gifts on Valentine's Day. And it's great to just throw in your purse, and when you're at a restaurant or something, you can pull it out and then they have something to play with. So you just put all those little pieces inside your little bag, cinch it up, and you're good to go. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and also check the blog post for the downloads and of course the measurements. And if you do make this, I would love to see it. So hit me up on Facebook and Instagram, links below, and join the community. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.